Class 6 Biology, Chapter 3rd. Good morning, students. Students, in today's class, we will see the mechanism of respiration. It is on your page number 41. And so far, we have seen some of the organs of the respiratory system, like lungs, bronchia, bronchioles, alveoli, pharynx, larynx, trachea, nose, and nasal cavity. So now, how the respiration, how we are able to breathe the things in and out. Now respiration involves breathing, gaseous transport, and cellular respiration. So first, breathing. So students, whenever you are inhaling the air, that is taking in oxygen and giving out carbon dioxide, that is exhalation. So this complete process, that is one complete process of inhalation and exhalation, is called simply breathing. So the process of taking in oxygen and giving out carbon dioxide is known as breathing. It is a physical process and involves two steps, that is inhalation and exhalation. Okay, now what is this inhalation? The process of taking in air rich in oxygen is called inhalation. So whatever the breath we are taking in, whatever the air we are taking in, that process is called inhalation. And whatever the air we are taking out, that process is called exhalation. So the process of giving out air rich in carbon dioxide is called exhalation. One inhalation and exhalation constitute one breath. So basically in your single breath you have one inhalation and one exhalation. Now during single inhalation, two things are happening. What is this? That is, ribs move upwards and outwards due to the contraction of muscles in the rib cage. And second thing, the diaphragm becomes flat and moves downwards. So students, in this figure you can see that the ribs, whenever you are doing this inhalation process, the ribs, they will come out upwards and outwards. Okay, and the diaphragm, here this structure, diaphragm, it will go with the this arrow sign. They are showing that it will go down. So the diaphragm becomes flat and moves downwards. Okay, then what will happen as a result? As a result, the space in the chest cavity increases and the air pressure decreases. Okay, since it will go downside, the volume will get increased, and we know if the volume is increasing, there will be less pressure, okay, from outside. So what will happen? The gas from the higher pressure, it will go to the region of its lower pressure. So it means we will take the air in. Okay, thus air flows into the lungs, which become inflated. Now two things happening simultaneously during exhalation. So what are these one? First one, ribs move downward and inwards as the muscles relax, and secondly, the diaphragm relaxes and moves upwards. So whatever the situation was there in these cases, now the situation is reverse. Okay, so let us see the diagram. So now you can see the rib cage, it is going downside, and this with this arrow you can see the rib cage, it is going downside. Okay, and the diaphragm also, it is getting contracted in the sense that whatever the direction of movement of diaphragm was here, it is reverse of that one. Okay, so diaphragm moves upwards. Now what will happen? Now the volume will get decreased, and as a result the pressure will get increased. Okay, now the pressure is more in this chest cavity than the outside. So what will happen? The gases move from their region of higher pressure to a region of their lower pressure, so it will come out. Okay, now as a result, the space inside the chest cavity decreases and the pressure increases. Thus air rushes out of the lungs by deflating them. Then students, there is a small table, and it is showing the composition of inhaled and exhaled air. So composition of these gases like oxygen, carbon dioxide, nitrogen, water vapor. So in inhaled air, oxygen is 21%, in exhaled air, oxygen is 17%. Now student, generally whatever the air we are taking, whatever the air is present in the atmosphere, okay, so in our atmosphere somewhere around 21% of oxygen is present. So that's why in inhaled air the percentage will also be the same. So that's why the same 21% we are inhaling. But when we are exhaling the air, so some of the oxygen, it is sent back, means and that is not used at one go. So how much we have used? Only 4%. You can see that only 4% of oxygen whatever we inhaled we used, and rest of the oxygen we exhaled back. But let us see this carbon dioxide in atmosphere, it is 0.03%. So obviously whenever we are inhaling the air, so same percentage of carbon dioxide we will inhale. Okay, and what is the percentage of carbon dioxide in exhaled air? It is 4%. So we are exhaling more of CO2, inhaling less of CO2. We are inhaling more of oxygen, exhaling less of oxygen. And then nitrogen, you know, somewhere 78 and 79% of nitrogen is present in our atmosphere. So obviously whenever we are inhaling the air, so same percentage will go inside our body or inside our lungs. Okay, 79%. But since nitrogen does not find any use, direct use in our body, so the same amount of nitrogen we are exhaling back, that is without use. Then there is water vapor in the atmosphere. It is low, but in exhaled air the water vapor, it is very high. Then students, there is this activity. You just see over here, by this activity we can learn the mechanism of the respiration. Already I told you, but with this activity let us see. So they have taken a bottle, okay, and that bottle was cut open from this at the base, and a stretchable membrane like that of the rubber they have put over there. Okay, then it is closed from upside. A straw is there. With that straw you can see two balloons. Okay, so they are here representing the lungs, and this membrane, it is representing the diaphragm. So whenever the diaphragm is going downside, okay, you are just stretching it downside, means it is going downside. Here the volume of this chamber will get chest cavity. If we consider it to be the chest cavity, it will get increased, and the air pressure will go down, means it will be less air. So to compensate that, the air from the outside, it will come inside. Okay, and where it is going to get filled? Inside these balloons. So you can consider it to be the windpipe, and these are the two lungs, right and left lungs. Okay, so whenever we are just stretching the diaphragm towards the lower side, they will get inflated. The lungs, the air will get filled in the lungs. And the reverse of this process, that when the diaphragm is going upside or its initial position, the volume of this chest cavity will get decreased, and hence the pressure will get increased. Now the air will move from inside to outside, and as a result, what will happen? The air from these balloons, it will go outside. Okay, and now you can see the deflated lungs. Now let us see this gaseous transport, and thereafter we will see cellular respiration. Now in gaseous transport, so basically the air which reaches the alveoli is rich in oxygen. Now we know that thing. The blood capillaries of alveoli contain blood rich in carbon dioxide, that you already know. The oxygen diffuses from the walls of capillaries into the blood. Walls of capillaries which are attached to the alveoli, from there the oxygen will diffuse into the walls of the capillaries in the blood. Now this oxygen now combines with the hemoglobin. Now students, hemoglobin is a protein pigment, and it is found in your RBC. Okay, it is a type of protein. So the oxygen binds with the hemoglobin. So here it is written RBC. The full form is red blood corpuscles. Sometimes we said it to be the red blood cells, but the correct full form is red blood corpuscles. Then of blood forming oxyhemoglobin. So oxyhemoglobin means the hemoglobin to which oxygen is attached. Now in this form, the blood carries oxygen from the lungs to all the cells of the body. It delivers oxygen to the cells and sets free hemoglobin again. Now all this oxygen from this complex, it will go into the cells. Oxygen will go inside of the cells, and again, if I just cut oxygen from here, so what will be left? Only hemoglobin. So it sets free hemoglobin again. Okay, now let us see what is the cellular respiration. Now respiration, we are discussing respiration and breathing. Now cellular means inside the cell. Okay, now inside a cell, series of chemical reactions take place which break down glucose into carbon dioxide and water and releases energy. So whatever the food we are eating, generally that food, the energy source, it is this glucose only. The food, the glucose in our food. Okay, so this glucose will react with the oxygen which we have taken here. this oxygen, and after getting reacted, what will be the product? Carbon dioxide, it is a waste product. Water, it is a waste product. We will just exhale these gases, water in the water vapor form and carbon dioxide in the vapor or gas form we will release. And what will the main product for which this respiration is being occurred? That is to produce the energy. So every organism utilizes this produced energy for its survival. The energy is stored in the form of ATP. Now we are saying energy, but energy can have so many forms. But in our body, this is stored in a type of chemical compound which is called ATP, and the full form is adenosine triphosphate. Okay. The carbon dioxide combines with the hemoglobin. Now whatever the hemoglobin was set free here, now carbon dioxide from inside of the cell, it will combine with the hemoglobin. So the complex will become carbaminohemoglobin. Okay. When hemoglobin was attached to oxygen, it was called oxyhemoglobin. Now carbon dioxide is attached to hemoglobin. It is called carbaminohemoglobin. Now in this form, the blood carries carbon dioxide to the alveoli, from where it is released and exhaled through the nose. Okay. Now there is a small table showing the differences between this breathing and cellular respiration. So let us see. Breathing, it is a simple process, inhaling and exhaling, simple physical process. But cellular respiration is a biochemical process. Why biochemical process? Because you can see that carbon dioxide and water, after utilization of this glucose and oxygen, has been formed. Okay, and energy is released, means a chemical reaction that has occurred. And why bio has been added over there? This is because it is occurring in the living beings. Okay, so that's why biochemical process. Then it involves taking in oxygen and giving out carbon dioxide, that you know. It involves utilization of oxygen to oxidize glucose into carbon dioxide, water and energy. Then it takes place mainly in the lungs, but as the name suggests here, it takes place in the tissues and cells of the body. Then energy is not released while breathing, but yes, energy is released and stored as ATP in cellular respiration, that we have already learned over here. Okay, this releases energy. Now there is a small activity for you people. You people just fill these blanks, that if the rate of breathing is higher, in which case it is higher, in which case it is lower. So you can fill these blanks. So the students, this is all for today. Goodbye.